This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
This might be a pinnacle of power for the Republican Party. They're in control of just about everything. It's musical chairs for the Democrats as they move around and just try to hop into a seat.
Tensions are high behind the scenes of both major political parties here in Florida. Tomorrow they will pick new leadership, but not without conflict. There have been sudden disqualifications and dirty campaigning. Who will emerge victorious, and where do the candidates stand? We'll break it down tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7. More on the races to head up the Florida state parties coming up, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. And we begin in Manatee County, where sheriff's deputies are investigating a horrific double homicide that took place in broad daylight. It happened at a home on 15th Street, Court East in Bradenton. Deputies say LaShawna Stevenson Weeks and Barry Joseph were found dead a little after 1 p.m. Both live in Manatee County, but not in the house where their bodies were found. Deputies believe this was a targeted attack and not random. The search is underway for a suspect. Bystanders were able to capture this photo of a dark-colored sedan. Deputies say the suspect is a black male wearing a red cap and white shirt.
At 1:18 this afternoon, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office received a call of some type of disturbance here at this location, 5206 15th Street Court East. When deputies arrived, they found a black male, black female victim with obvious trauma. They were deceased. So we have been investigating that since we arrived.
If you have any information, you are asked to contact Crime Stoppers at 866-634-TIPS. A follow-up on a homicide investigation in Manatee we told you about yesterday. A body with traumatic injuries was discovered at the intersection of 58th Avenue East and 21st Street East in Bradenton. Detectives are now identifying the victim as 56-year-old Holland Adrian of Sarasota. No arrests have been made, and the investigation continues. 2 Florida lawmakers are filing gun safety legislation in response to the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando. State Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith and State Senator Linda Stewart filed bills Thursday to ban assault rifles and high-capacity magazines. Some say the legislation could eradicate senseless acts of violence. Others say an outright ban of assault weapons would do little.
This sort of weapon is inappropriate in the hands of a private individual. There's no need for it. There's only one purpose for it, which is to kill a lot of people.
Banning things doesn't make a problem go away because the wrong elements can always get their hands on the wrong things. I mean, drugs are banned and they're quite prevalent in our society.
The bills face an uphill struggle in the Republican-controlled legislature. Sarasota State Representative in the State House Joe Gruters is officially filing his first bill that would limit women's access to abortion. Under the measure, women would be banned from getting an abortion starting after the 20th week of pregnancy. Proponents of the bill claim a fetus can feel pain at that point, an assertion disputed by abortion rights supporters. The legislation also requires physicians who perform abortions to provide detailed reports to the state.
Nobody's rights being taken away. What we're trying to do, we're just trying to say, listen, once the baby feels pain, it should be protected under law. If you want to have an elective abortion, do it in the first 5 months of pregnancy.
A companion bill in the Senate has also been filed. Florida Supreme Court is considering a challenge to a 2015 law requiring a 24-hour waiting period for women to have abortions. Manatee County's school district is reversing its image from an operational nightmare to a well-oiled machine, according to an intensive audit from the state Department of Education. In 2014, the district received an F grade from Florida's Auditor General. Now, that grade is closer to an A. Between audits, Manatee increased security, tightened up financial management, and created fail-safes for when staff make mistakes. Leading the overall is the new superintendent, Diana Green.
Her culture and what we as an administration embrace is that we will do the right thing and we will do it the right way, even if it's not the most comfortable way.
The district will need to keep stretching its dollars. Projected student growth is estimated to cost Manatee around $180 million over the coming years. Developer Harvey Vengroff is revising his announcement yesterday that he is pulling the plug on a new affordable housing project planned for Fruitville Road. Vengroff says the plan to build 368 low-rent units is suspended at this time. He says it will not resume unless the city makes concessions on certain requirements, like a mandate to install a sculpture with the value of at least $100,000 on the property. He says city code specifically says attainable housing units, as defined by the city commission, are exempt from the requirement. Now to the north end of Longboat Key, where city officials are installing massive concrete blocks in an effort to stop beach erosion. Today, workers are installing a dozen structures known as groins. In addition, another dozen put in place last month. Longboat Key paid about $2 million for the groins, using money from the town's beach fund.
We have put sand down over the years here, and it has disappeared sometimes in a matter of months. So the purpose of these structures is to hold that sand a little bit longer.
The town will monitor sand levels to determine just how much impact the groins are actually having. And now it's out to Bob at the Manatee County Fair. Bob.
Well, thanks, Alan. Yes, we're here at the 101st Manatee County Fair, and I've had my fried butter, now some fried Twinkie. This is what it's all about for me, fair food, and it's great. They've got the rides, the 4-H club, and also we'll be talking to some of the queens here and just a little bit. A beautiful night for the fair, and it looks like it's going to stay that way too. Right now, 75 degrees, and the dew point is at 63, which is really high. Winds are out of the east-northeast at 9, the pressure 30.36. And as far as rain goes, there were a few brief showers around earlier. Those showers have since moved on, and it's moving off to the west now, down south of us, and not much of a chance for rainfall here at all. Well, lots going on here, lots of people. The gates opened up at 5 o'clock, and we've got the Ricky Skaggs concert coming up in just a few minutes now, actually starting at 7:30, and the weather couldn't be better, and neither can the fair food and the fair rides behind me. It's all going on here, right here at the Manatee County Fair. We'll have much more in our forecast for the weekend coming up a little bit later. Back to you, Alan.
Thanks, Bob. And still to come, disqualified and disavowed. The fight to lead Florida's political parties has become chaotic over the course of the week, and even today. We'll break down how it got to this point when we return.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blog, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
I'm Alan Cohn. Progress and problems in race relations. Trump is preparing to take office. What changes can we expect under his leadership?
Monday on ABC7 News at 7. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Peace of mind is really crucial. The safety and security of this higher level of care, I think, is really important. Great nurses, great doctors, technologies that can really help when you are dealing with complications, high-risk newborns, or the infants that have medical conditions. This is the kind of care that we want at our public hospital.
Come meet the artists and enjoy their creations at the Sarasota Fine Art Festival. Over 100 artists and thousands of works of contemporary art in photography, glass, sculpture, jewelry, and much more. The 5th Annual Sarasota Fine Art Festival, Saturday and Sunday, January 14th and 15th on Main Street between Osprey and Orange Avenues in downtown Sarasota. Bring your love and appreciation of art to the Sarasota Fine Art Festival. For more information, visit ParagonArtEvents.com. Florida's last private island is a waterfront lifestyle like no other. This is Harbor Isle, just 5 minutes from the sugar sand beaches of Anna Maria Island. This sun-splashed paradise invites you to enjoy natural adventures and all the recreation of a tropical resort. Island coach homes and waterfront condos are now available from the high 400s. Don't miss the Luxury by the Bay event, Saturday, January 21st from noon till 4 p.m. at Harbor Isle. Water ski show, luxury cars, wine tasting, model home tours, and more.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
Plus, New South windows are made in Florida.
For Florida homes.
By Florida workers.
Because we know Florida weather.
Bring your measurements this Saturday from 9 to 4 to get huge discounts. New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
It has been described by some as the Sunshine State's version of the Game of Thrones. Tomorrow, the state Republican and Democratic parties pick their new chairman. In both cases, it has been rancorous, chaotic, and downright nasty. Why should any of us care? Adam Cellini joins us with the answer. Adam.
Yeah, Alan, no party is safe from the drama. And just hours ago, one of the Democratic candidates, Alan Clendenin, ruled ineligible by the Rules Committee to run for chair less than a day before that vote. After sweeping victories and agonizing defeats in November, Republicans and Democrats will soon decide who leads their party's campaign strategy in the future.
This might be a pinnacle of power for the Republican Party. They're in control of just about everything. I think the Democrats hope that they're bottoming out this cycle, and the person that comes in will be able to unify the party.
For the Republican Party, current chair Blaise Ngolia, a House representative from Hernando County, is hoping his November record will speak for itself. Republican voter registration jumped nearly 200,000 in the state. The party now controls more than 60% state House and Senate seats, and most importantly, Florida sent 29 Electoral College votes to their man, Donald Trump. But along the way, Ngolia showed some resistance to Trump, and it's inspired our local state committeeman to challenge his seat.
Once you have a nominee, you should, throw on a t-shirt, wave that flag as high as you can. And if you can't do that, you should resign.
Christian Ziegler spent more than a decade behind the scenes of several local, state, and national campaigns. As chair, he will aim to bolster the state party's financial resources.
Our staff's been cut. Our ability to fundraise has been cut. Some stats out there show that we're about half of what we normally bring in is what we brought in the past, couple years. That's concerning.
Some of those funds dried up when Governor Rick Scott cut ties with the party after Ngolia's 2015 election, a schism that has come to define the state party.
It's like a Game of Thrones in terms of a variety of different powerful seats, and you have different aligned coalitions. And I think Christian, although the governor has not taken a position, he has a lot of Governor Scott's support network behind him.
The next chair must also fan the flames ignited by President-elect Trump, according to local party leader Jack Brill.
There is a great new enthusiasm for these voters, and we want to make sure we keep their enthusiasm. They stay involved in Republican Party politics.
So on the Republican side, it's a standoff between the incumbent and a relative newcomer. But on the Democratic side, there are more candidates, arguably more at stake, and perhaps even more drama. 5 people have stepped up to fill the chair left vacant by Allison Tant, 2 of whom lost re-election bids in their own counties for state committee positions. Miami's Dwight Bullard and Alan Clendenin from Tampa each moved to remote parts of the state to assume state committeeman posts, allowing them to maintain their eligibility to run for party chair.
It's musical chairs for the Democrats as they move around and just try to hop into a seat.
Now state committee woman Mary Klupper says the next chair must be accessible, invested in the grassroots efforts, and in the counties who are fighting uphill battles against Republicans.
We are very outnumbered here. If we look at the registrations, Republicans have a lot more registrations than we do. But if we could tap into some extra resources, that might put us into a position to actually make some progress and start changing that.
With no clear-cut leader, South Florida developer Stephen Battelle has emerged from the pack as a political outsider. Some disagree with how the prominent party donor positioned himself for the campaign, but Klupper has heard his pitch and likes what she hears.
He has a lot of background with organizing and running companies, and he has the ability to do fundraising, but he's also understands this whole idea of grassroots and wants to tap into that.
Whoever the parties choose on Saturday will be tested in 2018 when Florida picks its next governor and members of Congress run again after 2 years of Trump.
We just do not know what sorts of ebbs and flows that's going to bring in a wild card Trump administration.
The state committee men and women from each party will all be in Orlando tomorrow night to cast their votes. Alan?
Adam, thank you. When we come back, we are joined by two of the top political journalists in the entire state and one of the top political analysts around. In a moment, we'll take it to the trapezoid.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves in providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction, and the secret's getting out. Maybe that's why so many people have chosen to list their homes with our friendly and qualified agents. After all, it only makes sense to list with a growing agency that markets in so many places. To list your home with SWC, give us a call at our office and ask for Teresa Witt.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Is the debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need
the Debt Ninja. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, you could be facing wage garnishments, levies, liens, property seizure, cancellation of business license, closure of business. The Debt Ninja fights your IRS debt. That's why you need the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja has found the best companies in the country who are on your side to fight debt. Want to learn if you qualify for the IRS Financial Hardship Program? Stop the IRS from garnishing your wages. Even if your bank account has been seized, if you have undeclared taxes, if you have existing IRS debt, it's not too late to call, so grab your phone now. Call the Debt Ninja at 800-945-0083. That's 800-945-0083. Settle your IRS debt to get the power of the Debt Ninja. Dial this number now, 800-945-0083.
Welcome back. Tonight, both the Florida Republican and Democratic state parties are about to pick new leaders. It's fascinating. If for no other reason, it has become a spectacle of rancor, dirty campaigning, power plays, you name it. At the center of it all, local boys, Sarasota State Committee man Christian Ziegler, Governor Rick Scott's guy, who is running to knock off the incumbent party chair, State Representative Blaise Ingoglia. On the Democratic side, Alan Clendenin, who lives both on Anna Maria Island and in Tampa, but is running as state committee man from a tiny community near the state prison in Stark. Joining us for more on this power struggle taking place in both state parties is Zach Anderson, political editor for the Herald Tribune, Keith Fitzgerald, professor of political science at New College of Florida and the former state representative, and Adam Smith, political editor for the Tampa Bay Times. Boy, this is pretty crazy, and we're going to get into it in just a moment. But first, Keith, why should anybody who is watching this right now even care?
There's no doubt that it's much more interesting for political junkies than it is for other people. But it is important. The parties are sort of like the coaching staff in a football program or a basketball program. They do the recruiting, they gather up the resources, they make sure everything runs. And so this is the behind-the-scenes team that determines how the Republicans and the Democrats operate as they go into the next election cycle.
You know, coming up in our next block, we're going to talk about, when it comes to the Democrats and Republicans, what both parties individually need, where their strengths and their weaknesses. But Adam, my God, what's going on with the Democratic Party? Just within the last few minutes, Alan Clendenin, who, as we reported, shopped around for a place because he lost his race for state committee man in Hillsborough County, tried to get in Manatee, then went up to Stark, and now was disqualified by the executive committee?
Yeah, you have multiple candidates county shopping, basically to be able to qualify
under these arcane rules that it takes to be eligible to be chairman of the party.
Has this ever been done before?
Yes. They always play games. Usually there's somebody picked by the sort of establishment of the party, and then they have to sort of finagle their way through loopholes to be able to get to some local DEC or executive committee position to qualify. And the question you have to ask, why make it so hard to find good people who can be chairman?
Well, Alan Clendenin, and he has been a guest on the show many times over the last year. He is currently the vice chair of the Florida Democratic Party after losing narrowly to Allison Tant 4 years ago. But obviously he has had a tough time for the last couple of months.
Vice chairman of the state party, you fly too close to the sun, you never know what can happen. His own party knocked him out. I think they thought he was a little too big for his britches, and so therefore he couldn't qualify as a leader in Hillsborough County. And then he apparently went to Manatee County, where he has a property, tried there, didn't work out, so he went up to Bradford County near Florida State Prison and managed to find a slot that he could win to qualify. And really, Dwight Bullard, another one of the candidates from Miami-Dade, is doing the same thing.
But he was not disqualified, and Clendenin was.
Apparently, Clendenin has a few more enemies than Bullard does and is taken more seriously than Bullard.
And Zach, I wanted to get you in here because what is the deal with Christian Ziegler? He is also a frequent guest on this show. He is respected, but he is running a pretty, what's the term when...
Well, he's been accused of running a scorched earth campaign by his opponents, and I'm not sure it's gone that far, but it has, taken on some kind of controversial tactics. There's been some outside media organizations, somebody who worked for Breitbart who's written about this. It just shows that no matter how big your success is, and Republicans are very dominant in Florida right now, you can always find something to argue about, and there's still issues that they have within the party. There's divisions that they have within the party between the Trump wing and the Marco Rubio wing. There's issues that they have between the governor, Rick Scott, who a few years ago did not get his preferred candidate for party chair into office, and then has stopped raising money for the party and has had a break with the party. So there's an idea that Ziegler has tapped into that the party is not operating on all cylinders.
All right, we're going to talk about that some more. We're getting started just on this subject, and on the races, the state party chair is coming up along with our check on our forecast, so we'll be back in just a moment.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
I'm Alan Cohn. Progress and problems in race relations. Trump is preparing to take office. What changes can we expect under his leadership?
Monday on ABC7 News at 7. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
It's time to go boating, but first, don't miss the 16th annual Charlotte County Boat Show, January 12th to the 15th at the Charlotte County Fairgrounds. Show admission is free and on-site parking is only $5. January 12th through the 15th. Visit GoBoatingFlorida.com for more information.
I heard about the Dottoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dottoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dottoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Our discussion of the contentious races for party chairs continues in just a moment, but right now let's go out to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan, who joins us from the Manatee County Fair.
Well, thanks.
Bob.
I'll tell you, joining us right now are three beautiful ladies right here. We have Miss Manatee County Fair 2017. How's it going?
It's going wonderful. We're so excited to be here on the second night of the fair.
And you are beautiful. What's your name?
I'm Sadie Montanus.
Sadie, what do you think of the fair so far?
You know, 101 years of history. This is where my grandparents came and my parents came, so I'm just so happy to have a small part in representing my community here at the fair.
Well, that's great news. And we have little Miss Manatee County Fair, and I see you all the time at my daughter's school, Stewart Elementary. How are you liking it?
I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. What's your name?
Haley Rizza.
And you look great tonight as well. We have a junior Miss Manatee County Fair. What's your name?
Reagan Williams.
And how do you think the fair is going so far?
It's going great. It's a lot of fun.
You guys get free fair passes?
We get free ride passes.
That's what I meant. That's one thing about one of the benefits, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you guys look good. You guys are going to go throughout the fair meeting and greeting people, right?
Yes, absolutely. We're here to host everyone and welcome everyone to the fair, support our economy, support our agriculture economy, and to have you and talk to you.
That's right, and eat some nice food. I had a fried butter just about a half hour ago. So.
I had the fried butter yesterday.
They're good. People don't know. It's really quite good. Our weather's good too. Thanks a lot, ladies. Just stay right there. We'll go to the weather here. Lakewood Ranch, your webcam showing just basically some clouds around. Not much as far as rainfall goes. We are anticipating no real threat of any significant rainfall. In fact, every year it seems like I've been doing this, there's always been a big cold front that comes down this time of year. But right now, looking in the foreseeable future, it doesn't appear to be threatening. We'll wait and see in about 10 days from now, but right now, looking pretty good. High pressure off the East Coast kind of dominating our weather right now. We're getting that strong easterly fetch, which is bringing some moisture in from the Atlantic, but not having much success making it all the way over. 75 right now. Some clouds around, 80 degrees, 61 for a low this morning. That was the high today, 80, well above average. No rainfall to report, and we are not expecting any measurable precipitation, unlike we saw last Friday night and Saturday morning when that big front moved through. So things are working out well for the 101st Manatee County Fair. Hard to believe, over 100 years it's been here. Temperatures right now, mid-70s up and down the coast. Nationally, while the big storm out west has winded down, and now it's moving across the central U.S., but not a lot of warnings or watches at this point. Great skiing weather out west, and temperatures right now pretty chilly over the northern plains, but not too bad right here in Florida. Well, the 7-day forecast looks to be pretty good. In fact, upper 70s to low 80s right on in through Wednesday. We cool down slightly on Thursday and Friday. The rain chance at 20%. On Friday, 30% on Thursday. Well, we got a big concert tonight. A lot of entertainment here, too. You girls look great. We look forward to seeing you over the next 10 days.
Yes, thank you so much for having us, and we welcome everyone and can't wait for everyone to get out and see what we're seeing tonight.
Thank you very much. Right there. Back at you, Ellen.
Monday at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Matter.
And I'm Don Brennan. As the nation gets ready to honor Dr. Martin Luther King on his special day, several events are planned across the Suncoast to celebrate.
We'll show you how you can get involved Monday on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
Beautiful weather on the Suncoast right straight through the middle of the week. Then maybe some changes. We'll talk about that.
Monday at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
Come meet the artists and enjoy their creations at the Sarasota Fine Art Festival. Over 100 artists and thousands of works of contemporary art in photography, glass, sculpture, jewelry, and much more. The 5th Annual Sarasota Fine Art Festival, Saturday and Sunday, January 14th and 15th on Main Street between Osprey and Orange Avenues in downtown Sarasota. Bring your love and appreciation of art to the Sarasota Fine Art Festival. For more information, visit ParagonArtEvents.com.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope.
and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing the races for chair of the state Republican and Democratic parties. Our guests tonight are Zach Anderson of the Herald Tribune, Keith Fitzgerald of New College of Florida, and Adam Smith of the Tampa Bay Times. And Zach, I want to start with you because, and we showed a little of this video going after the current Republican Party chair, and it was produced by an organization affiliated with Breitbart. You know, what is Breitbart, which is Steve Bannon, who is now the senior counselor to the president-elect. What is it doing being involved with Florida state Republican politics?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Breitbart is almost viewed as sort of a wing of Donald Trump's campaign at this point. You know, it was very pro-Trump throughout his campaign. It's considered sort of the bunch of Trump loyalists, and it sort of shows that, I don't know how high up this goes, but certainly people within the Trump administration or who are on the Trump campaign are certainly not happy with the current chair of the Republican Party of Florida. There was an idea among some people that he was not supportive of Trump early on in the campaign and didn't do enough for Trump. The former Florida state director for Trump, Karen Giorno, has said some very scathing things about Angolia. So I think it's viewed that Trump is getting involved in this, at least through some of his surrogates.
Susie Weil, who ran the Trump campaign, is supporting
Yeah, you sort of have a division between some of the Trump people. Susie Weil, though, she's a lobbyist in Tallahassee. She's more tied in with the power structure there, and so Angolia and that is sort of all part of that.
And let's talk for a moment the fact that Rick Scott, the governor, is not involved with the Florida Republican Party has left the party itself in pretty dire straits financially.
The storyline with the Republican Party, I think, is fascinating because, in a way, this election is less about Blaise Angolia, the current chairman, than it is about Florida House Speaker Richard Corcoran. Because Blaise Angolia is in the Florida House, the party is seen as basically operating under the authority of Richard Corcoran. Richard Corcoran, in many ways, is Blaise's boss. Rick Scott doesn't have a good relationship with Richard Corcoran as it is. The party snubbed him, so he's pulling out. The Florida Senate doesn't quite trust Richard Corcoran. They're not putting money in there. The guy who's the front runner to become the next Republican nominee for governor, Adam Putnam, he doesn't raise money for them. He relies on his own committee. So partly what we're seeing is the diminishment of both parties in the era of political committees, et cetera.
But in terms of the Republican Party, they have very little money on hand, but you can't argue with the results. They have dominant majorities in both the Florida House and the Senate. Let's talk for a moment about the Democratic Party. Adam, could you tell us a little bit about Stephen Patel? Because nobody who's watching this would probably really know much about him.
Well, probably they don't know much about any of these people, but Stephen Patel is a very, very wealthy businessman from Miami-Dade. He has been involved in national and statewide politics. If you're a prominent politician, probably if you're Keith Fitzgerald, you know Stephen Patel because he's he brings in the money. He's key, and I think that is largely his appeal. That's why he is the candidate that Bill Nelson is supporting, which is probably the single most important vote, even though he's not voting, that you have.
Because Bill Nelson is the only statewide elected Democrat. He is the next Democrat that is up for re-election. So I would imagine whatever Bill Nelson wants, he'll get.
Well, he hopes, but this is the Democratic Party, so people don't always march in line.
Keith, you and I have talked a lot about what the state Democratic Party needs, and one thought would be, instead of necessarily a big money man, would be somebody who can develop a message and talk about it, because there is such a vacuum in terms of Democratic leadership in Florida at this point?
Well, it does need a money man, so let's not discount that. Money is important in politics, and the Democrats just are structurally behind in Florida, so that's important. But I do agree that the Democrats just have a tough time not holding any prominent positions in state government. There isn't anyone to carry the message until you have a gubernatorial candidate. I think it's extremely frustrating in the session where a lot of people, if they knew what happened in Tallahassee, wouldn't like it. But there isn't anyone to tell the story about what is going on. One thing that the Democratic Party has a tough time with, and some of it's just a lack of resources to make this happen, is they don't really coordinate message very well. So you'll have, you know, the House Minority Leader says one thing, the House Majority Leader says another. There isn't somebody who comes in and coordinates message for all the people, so the same things are said about the same issues on the same day.
Not only that, our experience is that in many cases, Democratic campaigns are islands onto themselves, that every candidate kind of feels like they're alone out there, as opposed to the Republicans who play politics like a team sport.
Yeah, no, one thing I would say that people need to start wrapping their head around is that the two parties are not exactly mirror images of each other, which is the way we sort of like to think about it. The Republicans have a vast network of resources outside of the formal party structure, with think tanks, connections to various different groups and organizations like evangelicals, so they can push message and come up with policy initiatives in a way that Democrats have a very difficult time doing, because they simply don't have the same kind of support base.
So Adam, if you could put your finger on it in terms of what's happening right now with the state Republican Party, what is the party lacking at this point? I mean, what can a chairman do to kind of change things in terms of allowing the Republican Party to be better financed, if anything, at this stage?
Financing is the least of the problems with the Republican Party, generally speaking. But you do have this situation where when the governor really has disowned the party, and that's what's happened. Christian Ziegler, you know, he may be self-serving, but he's right. They are struggling to raise money because the governor's raising a lot of money and keeping it for his own committee. So it really reflects what's happening in the party as a whole in some ways. Lots of different factions and some mistrust against different groups within the party.
And Zach, you know, you have talked to the new Democratic State Committee woman for Sarasota County and Manatee County. What are they hoping to get out of the Democratic race?
I think they want to be listened to. I think they feel like, you know, the grassroots of the party has been overlooked a little bit. There's been a lot of top-down leadership. They haven't had a lot of say. I mean, I think they would like to be pushing more of a liberal message. I think they also just want to win. They want somebody that can win. So I think that the idea of a Stephen Battelle who can raise a lot of money is also very alluring to them.
Because let me bring this up. You know, our ABC7 political analyst, Frank Alcock, ran for the state senate this time around. He put together a credible campaign, but he was not helped very much by the state party. I mean, are these the kinds of races that Democrats hope that they could get the party involved with?
They need to be playing in some of these races, like what the one that Frank Alcock ran in. His district is pretty significantly Republican, but it's not overwhelmingly Republican. The Democrats should be playing in some of those seats if they're going to, you know, get back into a majority. Right now, they can't even play in the seats where they have an advantage, where Hillary Clinton won. You know, she won 51 House seats this year, and the Democrats only hold 41 state House seats, so there's 10 seats.
It gets to be a vicious cycle. With the Democrats have no power in Tallahassee, they can't raise money to even help a credible candidate in a potentially competitive district like Frank Alcock.
Okay, let's take a quick break, but when we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests, plus what some of our viewers are saying about a bill to make motorcycle helmets mandatory.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Man, he used to hang out with us. Yeah, and then he just stopped. I hope he's gonna be okay.
1 in 5 of us has a mental health condition, but emotional pain can be hard to spot and harder to talk about. Learn the 5 signs of emotional suffering. If you see 1 or more signs in someone you care about, reach out, connect, and offer to help.
Megan, come sit with us.
And our answers for
Visit changedirection.org.
Start the year off right with a great deal during the Start Something New event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Come drive the most awarded SUV of all time, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, or shop the area's largest selection of new Jeep Wranglers. Stop by today and drive away in a new Jeep Compass for just $14,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman was a victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
The official salon of ABC7. Cutting Loose Salon.
Welcome back. Tomorrow, Florida Republicans and Democrats will pick their new chairs, but how will that leadership affect the futures of both parties? Our guests join us now for final thoughts. Adam, just look at the Democratic race. Will it make a difference?
Really, I think what matters most in both these races, whether the next chair is somebody that screws everything up. That's what really matters. So far, it has not ultimately made, for years, made much of a difference who the chairperson is, as long as they're competent.
Well, I mean, how could things kind of possibly get worse for the Democrats, Keith?
Well, you know, I'm sort of defensive about the Florida Democratic Party as such, the formal organization. I don't think it's their personnel. I think it's their inability to get the kind of resources you need to compete with the other side. So I think a fundraiser would probably be a good idea for the Democrats.
And Zach, when it comes to the Republican Party, is the Ziegler insurgent campaign something that could actually make these divides even worse?
I don't think so. I think the Republicans are pretty dominant, and whatever happens, I think that they'll continue to be dominant in the near future. I think the stakes are a lot higher for the Democrats. They really need somebody to pull them out of irrelevancy, somebody who can get them organized, get out the vote effort stronger, raise some more money. So I think that you know, they're at rock bottoms. Whoever they pick is probably not going to make it any worse, but they need to definitely improve.
With our few seconds left, you know, Christian, as we said, is on the show very often. Does anybody believe he has a good shot to actually knock off the party chair? Adam?
He has a shot, not a good shot.
I don't think so, but you know, I'm sort of not big in the prediction business these days after the presidential campaign.
Exactly.
As his hometown reporter, I'll say that he definitely has a chance, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it does seem like there is some discontent there, and you know, you never know. The current chairman pulled a big upset, so who knows what can happen.
All right. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about last night's topic. Currently, motorcycle riders in Florida are not required to wear a helmet if they are 21 or older and have proper insurance. Now, one Republican member in the State House is filing a bill to make it mandatory for all bikers, and we asked you what you thought about the legislation. Martin Hafer writes, I think they should be able to drive without helmets or jackets, but I also think health insurance companies should not need to pay for their injuries unless they have helmets on when the accident occurs. Kit Klug writes, only people that actually ride a bike should be commenting, as the rest of you are playing without talking on your phones while you drive. I see you every day. You have absolutely no right to tell others how to be safe. But Mark Jones writes, yes to helmets, not because riders are dangerous, but car drivers are. Chances are you will die or be seriously injured for months. Personally, I wouldn't take the chance. I am wearing a helmet. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And FYI, want to watch past roundtable discussions? They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to our guests for being here tonight. Zach Anderson is political editor of the Sarasota Herald Tribune. Keith Fitzgerald is a professor of political science at New College of Florida. And Adam Smith is political editor of the Tampa Bay Times. When we return, we'll have a final look at weather. Plus, violating the constitutional rights of the people they are sworn to protect. The Justice Department is releasing its findings after investigating the Chicago Police Department. We'll have details in our primetime headlines.
Monday on ABC7 News at 7.
After my election, there was talk of a post-racial America. And such a vision, however well-intended, was never realistic.
Race relations in our nation and here on the Suncoast. As Trump prepares to take office, what are the expectations for change? I'm Alan Cohn. Join us for this critical conversation.
Monday on ABC7 News at 7. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Are you considering joint replacement or revision surgery? Consider this. Dr. Edward Stolarski has performed thousands of successful joint replacement procedures and trained surgeons from all over the world. Using advanced technologies, Dr. Stolarski is able to perform some of the most complex surgeries.
I wish I knew about Dr. Stolarski much sooner.
After the surgery, I don't have any pain. It's like I've got a 16-year-old hip.
My name's Ed Stolarski. What I really do is I give people back their life.
Schedule a consultation today.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory. It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
Plus, New South windows are made in Florida.
For Florida homes.
By Florida workers. Because we know Florida weather.
Bring your measurements this Saturday from 9 to 4 to get huge discounts. New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
Get the new year off to a great start with safety and peace of mind. Subaru was named the 2016 Best Overall Brand, Most Trusted, and Best Performance Brand by Kelley Blue Book. And ALG named Subaru its top mainstream brand for residual value for 2016. Now you can lease a new Subaru Outback for just $229 a month or get 0% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Your primetime headlines are coming up, but first let's head out to Manatee County, the fair there, where Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan has a final check on the weather. Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. The weather couldn't be better tonight. Generally fair skies right now. Temperatures upper 60s to low 70s, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. Now, there were some showers around earlier. Those showers have since moved on and pushed off toward the west and dissipated now that the sun is set. That lift is no longer there. Temperatures, as I said, in the upper 60s to even mid-70s at times. The pressure is what's really driving our weather right now. 30, 36, and that continues to rise. The high today was 80 degrees. The low this morning, 61. Both those numbers about 10 degrees warmer than average, and the hourly forecast looks good. Just a little bit of patchy inland fog, if anything. Low temperatures unseasonably warm into the low 60s near the coast, upper 50s inland, and the forecast as far as temperatures go, they're going to stay warm right in through the weekend. So right now, mid 70s to lower 70s across the area. Well, nationally, what we have going on is a frontal system. It's kind of dividing the extreme Arctic air to the north, which is now slicing through Kansas, Missouri, southern Illinois, and Indiana. That will not move much to the south because of this large area of high pressure, which continues to hold strong to the east of the southeast United States. Well, watches and warnings, only a few. It had been packed solid out west over the past couple of days. That has since moved on. Well, temperatures very cold in places like Minot, Minneapolis, and Omaha. But then as you move through time, lows tomorrow will be in the single digits in those places I just mentioned, with the exception of Omaha at 16. And then the cold air kind of spreads off to the east. The south a little bit to Dallas, but that's about as far south as it goes. It does not make it all the way down here, and it looks like that will be the case right on in through much of next week. So our forecast looks to be pretty good as we move through this fair, which lasts, again, for the next 10 days. And the weather, as I said, couldn't be better. Lots of folks already here. We got a big concert going on right now, Alan. And I've already had the fried butter, fried Oreos, fried Twinkie, and now I'm going to have this. Hi, kids, having a good time? 4-H club. A 4-H club. Back to you guys.
2 years ago, my son was born. Now he's running, playing, and learning to speak. When I look at him, I can't help but to see how free he is. I want my son to have the same freedom when he grows up. Protect our freedom of speech, not just for us, but for the future generations.
I'm Alan Cohn. Progress and problems in race relations. Trump is preparing to take office. What changes can we expect under his leadership?
Monday on ABC7 News at 7. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Go ahead. Make a fashion statement. Demand something more than just ordinary. Capture elegance in every turn and drive with flair. Where beautiful styling is standard. Stop in and take a test drive. I'll guarantee you'll never go back to plain vanilla again. The all-new 2017 Fiat 500, starting at $14,999. Only at Sunset Fiat in Sarasota.
I support Goodwill because when I donate or shop, I have the power. The power to change lives.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency. We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us.
At Penn Funding, we like to say, yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-658-3433. 800-658-3433.
Now for a look at your primetime headlines. Florida had more Obamacare signups than any other state last year, but now Republicans in Congress are pushing forward with plans to repeal the program. So what are their plans to replace the health care of 20 million Americans now rely on? ABC's Lana Zach has the latest from Washington.
This is a 5-minute vote.
Obamacare is on the chopping block.
The American people have spoken. They do not want Obama's high-cost, job-killing, conscience violating health care system.
House Republicans voted for a full repeal of Obamacare over Democrats' objections.
Not only will they repeal and displace plan, cut off millions of Americans, men, women, and children from quality, affordable health care, but will also have devastating impacts on our economy.
Earlier this week, Senate Republicans pushed forward a similar blueprint late in the night. But millions of Americans have come to rely on Obamacare, like Jeff Jeans of Arizona. He told CNN and Republican Speaker Paul Ryan he was a lifelong Republican, but Obamacare saved his life after being diagnosed with cancer.
I want to thank President Obama from the bottom of my heart because I would be dead if it weren't for him. Why would you repeal the Affordable Care Act without a replacement?
Oh, we wouldn't do that. We want to replace it with something better.
President-elect Trump made similar assurances that Republicans would reveal a plan.
Repeal and replace is going great.
But Democrats are not convinced.
For 6 years, they have had a chance to propose an alternative. We've seen nothing.
Privately, some Republicans have expressed concern at moving forward with repeal before having articulated their replacement plan. But so far, at least publicly, the Republican Party appears to be sticking together. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Office of Inspector General is launching an investigation into FBI Director James Comey and the Justice Department. Comey's decision to reopen the Hillary Clinton email case just 11 days before the election is under scrutiny. The IG is examining whether Comey followed proper procedures when he made the case public. Also under investigation, an assistant attorney general who allegedly leaked information to both the Clinton and the Trump campaigns.
Department policy has always been you don't do it close to an election. You don't want anybody to think the department is acting to influence an election.
President-elect Trump tweeting this morning, quote, "What are Hillary Clinton's people complaining about with respect to the FBI? Based on the information, they should have never been allowed to run." As one Justice Department investigation begins, another one is ending. The DOJ releasing a scathing report today detailing how the Chicago Police Department violated constitutional rights of the people they serve. A year-long federal probe concludes the department permitted racial bias against blacks, using excessive force and killing people who did not pose a threat.
During the course of our investigation, the department heard from countless officers who were themselves disillusioned and discouraged by strained trust, by inadequate training, poor oversight, and inattention to officer wellness and safety.
The investigation was launched after police killed an unarmed 17-year-old named Laquan McDonald, shooting him 16 times in 2014. The video, released more than a year later, sparked protests. Back here in Florida, a send-off for Orlando Police Sergeant Deborah Clayton. A motorcade salute was held in Clayton's honor today. The 42-year-old cop and community activist was allegedly shot and killed by Markeith Lloyd at an Orlando area Walmart on Monday. Lloyd was wanted in connection with the death of his pregnant girlfriend. He remains on the run. Orange County Sheriff's Deputy Norman Lewis was killed in a motorcycle crash during the search for Lloyd. Lewis was from Port Charlotte, and his service will be held in his memory on Monday. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush says it is unlikely he'll run for office again. Bush says he plans to focus on building up his business and working with the foundation he created to push for changes in education policy. At this time, he is ruling out running again for Florida governor. When Bush jumped into the race for the GOP presidential nomination, he was initially viewed as the front runner, but he said he ended his bid after he lost the South Carolina primary. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night and weekend.